The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You gotta love some smooth jazz in the morning while you enjoy your mimosa.
Oh yeah, this is a different vibe already. I can feel it.
I know, right? All right. Welcome everyone to the Saturday Brunch edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts, and to my right is a man who is his hair's a little unkempt, but that's okay. He's gonna keep going anyway. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Little groggy. Slept in later than I wanted to, and we're live, so I'm planning a workout after this. So I look a little grungy. But the other thing is, I wore a piece of Seahawks gear for my first show ever on No Credentials Required, and I feel like I should do the same for the first regular brunch show, because these are going to be happening much more regularly now. And I am fired up. I got my cup of Invader. I am drinking the Cookie Crumble.
I got the Bad Santa.
Oh, perfecto. I still have your bag, sir. I will get it to you in all likelihood next weekend now, because I'm putting together a little get-together for Wild Card Weekend.
Wild Card Weekend. Woo! All right. So I'm a little worse for wear this morning myself, because I rolled in about 1:35 a.m. coming from Newark, New Jersey, and went to the Devils game with a buddy of mine. We saw the Blackhawks play the Devils. Big controversy right now. I wouldn't say controversy, but Connor Bedard, who is the wonderkin in the league, leading rookie scorer, on his third shift in the game, knocked out of the game by Brendan Smith of the New Jersey Devils if you go watch the hit, social media is lit up this morning. Hockey Twitter is lit up this morning, and it's a 50-50 right now between clean and dirty. So I thought it was clean. I'm not saying that as a Devils fan. I'm saying that as a guy who's watched hockey for many a year, and it was a clean hit. Unfortunately, Connor Bedard did not come back to the game afterwards. Man. Yeah, which is a shame. So, but Devils wound up winning. They fell behind 1-0 to tie the score, and then fell behind again, a shorthanded goal and a bad giveaway. And they scored 3 goals in the third period. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the empty netter to wrap things up. I come back and life is good. Devils have won 2 straight off the Christmas break, and they're playing the Vancouver Canucks tonight. So in New Jersey, unfortunately, I didn't not going down there because we're supposed to get a big winter storm. Depending on who you ask. Some are saying 4 to 8, some are saying 6 to 12. We don't know in the capital region, but we'll see.
Weatherman G, the last update I saw from the only source I trust, I am still mystified how a man who lives in Florida can get weather right better than the meteorologists that are here. I am a Weatherman G fan. He said initially, I got to see if he updated it. He said 5 to 10 initially, but I think he might have said we got to watch upscaling and downsloping, because it could be 6 to 12 for our immediate area, but it's supposed to arrive between 5 and 7 tonight, I believe, or this evening.
Yeah.
So that's I got to go out, and I have gas in my snowblower, but I got to go out and get more, make sure I have enough, get some salt, make sure I have salt, get ready to go. Probably should have done it earlier, but I had family stuff going. I was watching the kids, things. Life is crazy. Yes. The life of a busy podcast host. But I do have to ask, and I'm gonna throw you on the spot for our first brunch podcast, regular brunch podcast. So 2 questions. So did you notice a momentum shift once Bedard went out? What was the morale of the Blackhawks? Like, did you notice like a change in there, or did they rally around it?
They rallied around it.
Yeah.
On the next shift, Nick Foligno and Brendan Smith fought. So there was a bit of a moment. There was the Blackhawks were playing for their guy. They're playing for their prize pony.
Yeah.
So I give credit for that. And they went in the power. Then it's a chippy game. It was a chippy game, especially with especially going into the second period. Actually, from that, I would say probably from that moment on, from the Bedard hit on, it got really chippy. Got really. The guys don't play that often. You know, they're it's Chicago's in the Western Conference. In the Western Conference, Devils are in the Eastern Conference. They don't see each other often. They probably see each other twice a year. But they were playing like it was the playoffs. It was like that kind of an atmosphere, that kind of vibe. And Prudential Center, they showed up last night. Connor Bedard sells tickets. As my buddy Rob would say, Connor Bedard sells tickets.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, he didn't play the whole game. He only played I think three shifts the entire game before heading out.
That's the sad thing, because I was going to ask you if he was as exciting to watch in person as he has seemed from afar this year for me, because, you know, I haven't, and truth be told, I have not watched as much hockey as I've wanted to, although with the football season gearing up for the playoff push, I could see myself watching hockey and probably a little smattering of the NBA. But the other question I have for you, sir, and I'm putting you on the spot, so I apologize. You're a tired man, but
that's okay. That's okay.
Will we possibly see more hockey content from you this year?
I think you will. I think this. I think from the both of us, actually.
Possibly.
Especially because we talked about this. We talked about covering more sports on the Saturday edition. Right now, the NFL is our bread and butter.
It's the show pony.
It's our show pony. It's our show pony. And but I think with football season ending within the next month, with the NFL ending in the next month, I think we'll definitely see more. You might see more hockey coverage here. No credentials required. You might see it. You might see me have another donut to do some Devils content. Actually, last night I finally got to meet in person my buddy Jim, who covers the Devils for Full Press NHL. So got a big shout out to Jim. So you might see him on here talking Devils hockey, because he's at the games and he's covering the games for Full Press. So. Yeah,
awesome.
You might see have another donut come back. You may or may not see Victory Monday though. But we'll do a draft or free agent special or a draft special. That's what Dan's bread and butter is. This is a draft, because he nerds out when it comes to the Jets. But yeah,
well, I have to say. One of my favorite parts of Victory Monday, or sometimes not Victory Monday, I don't tune in as regularly, but I have seen the show, and Dan's reactions are some of the best. So it's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. All right. Well, we're gonna talk. Speaking of NFL, we're gonna talk NFL Week 18. But before we do that, took a little bit of a roundabout way to do this, but we just want to remind you about our social medias right down here below on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We welcome everyone who's watching on Twitter right now. We've actually seen quite a bump in Twitter coverage, Twitter viewing. So, please welcome, leave a comment if you're on Twitter. But yes, Twitter, Instagram, and the now infrequently used TikTok at NoCardsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCardsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCardsREQ. Just want to remind you to please like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our social media network channels. Also, if you wouldn't also mind going to the Belly Up page. Welcome to everyone who's watching on Belly Up Sports on the replay on Belly Up Sports, which will be, like as I said on Tuesday's show, this show, the live edition will be available on replay on Belly Up Sports, their YouTube site, because we want to make that YouTube money, and we're putting out more content on the Belly Up YouTube channel, and also Gozilla Media. Check them out. Check them out as well. Moving on, subscribe to the podcast on a myriad of podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, wherever you podcast, rate and review. Leave us a 5-star rating. That would be really, really helpful. That means more people will be more exposed to the show. They'll know more about it. And also leave a review. In fact, we had going back to the comments. We had a comment left after the show by our buddy Kevin Wilson from Belly Up Fantasy Sports. He says he can't wait for the Saturday edition. Kevin, I hope you're tuning in. But on the podcast, but again, on the podcast side, if you are on a platform that you are able to leave a review, leave us a review. We might even read it on the air. And because we are currently a live show on the No Credentials Required channel, or after the show, engage with the show. Leave us a comment. We want your comment. And I know, Dustin, you like to wake up to this sound every single morning. Gotta play that sweet, sweet sound.
Oh, yeah. I love it. It takes me back to my childhood. Takes me back to
the harp. Well, I'm going to put the rest of this French press coffee in my...
Oh, into the mug it goes.
Into the mug it goes. That's right. Gets myself nice and caffeinated because Lord knows I need it this morning because we got to talk some NFL.
Yes. And while Ryan's pouring that cup, I would like to say we want your audience comments. Please comment, engage with us. It drives the show. Show. You know, because Lord knows without Ryan, I would be in trouble. I can't do it on my own.
It's true. He can't.
We need you. I'm like Uncle Sam, except I'm wearing a Seahawks hat. We need you.
We want you. I'm trying to figure out this camera. All right. So NFL
We're
Week
live.
18. We are live. NFL Week 18. What we're looking forward to. And before we get to anything, Dustin, we have to talk about the playoff picture coming into Week 18. It's like
madness.
Charlie. It's like Charlie Day in that
Always Sunny
where he's in the mill where he's trying to find Pepe Silva and he's linking all these things together. It's crazy. But yeah. Oh, we got a comment from Captain Lou Gamlin, friend of the show. He says, take the Ravens money line today. So nice little gambling tip.
Yeah.
You can use it. And DraftKings, DKNG.co/BellyUp150. Get $5. $5 deposit gets you $200 in free bets.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Ding. Put that in there. All right. Playoff picture coming into Week 18. We're going to go over all the playoff possibility scenarios, the clinching scenarios for Week 18. So here we go. So we've got so we're going to start with the clinched, with the playoff spots have been clinched. In AFC, Baltimore, they won the North Division title, the number 1 seed. They have a first round bye. They have home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, they win the West. The Cleveland Browns, they earn a playoff berth via wild card. They have one of the 3 wild card spots, and the Miami Dolphins have a playoff berth as well. However, we don't know what their seed is until tomorrow night because the Sunday night game this week, which I was praying for, which I was hoping for. I was hoping for Miami to lose at least one of their last 3 games and Buffalo to win out because this will be the lone game for Sunday Night Football. It flex this out. Dolphins, Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. And I think it's going to be a beauty. That's my humble opinion.
And this one is crazy. This one is crazy because you'll get into it. But basically, Buffalo, their fortunes weigh heavily on this game, the result of this game.
Yeah, and Buffalo right now is a wagon, and nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills because they have won 4 games in a row. They've won 5 of the last 6 games, and I think they could have beat. The Philadelphia Eagles, but that's neither here nor there. But the Miami Dolphins, they have a playoff berth. They win the AFC East. But we're going with the Buffalo. Buffalo, they win the AFC East if they beat Miami on Sunday night. They also clinch a playoff berth if they tie, if the Steelers lose or tie, if Jacksonville loses or ties, or Houston and Indianapolis tie. See, this is how crazy the playoff scenarios are in the NFL.
Yeah, this is wild.
This is one of the most.
Yeah, this is one of the craziest years in recent memory. I think many games have significance in the last week of the season, and as you said, this is what the NFL wants. But not only the NFL, this is what we want as fans and people who cover the league.
And people who cover the league, talking to you at ESPN.
Yeah.
So Buffalo needs to win basically, and they also need a lot of help. But that's neither here nor there. I think they just win out, they clinch that playoff spot and they clinch the division. The Houston Texans, they are playing the Indianapolis Colts tonight at 8:15. 8:15 kickoff in Indianapolis. Houston clinches the AFC South if they win and Jacksonville either loses or ties. They clinch a playoff berth if they win or they tie, Jacksonville loses, or Pittsburgh loses and as a tie. So with the scenarios, notice that it's a lot of help. Somebody needs a lot of help somewhere.
Yeah.
Then we go to the Indianapolis Colts, who are, again, they're playing Houston later tonight. They clinched the South Division with a win and a Jacksonville loss or tie, or they tie and Jacksonville loses. They'll also clinch a playoff berth if they win or tie and Pittsburgh loses or ties.
I will say, not this many ties are not going to happen. Yeah, this many ties are not going to happen.
No. Like I said, my head hurts from the amount of mathematics that are involved in this because it's way too complicated for me.
This is why I leave this part to you. I'm like Ryan will break it all down.
I'm just reading. I'm just going to read it. I'm just going to power through and read them all. Powered by Invader Coffee.
Yes, both of us.
That's right. All right, moving on to Jacksonville. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they play the execrable Tennessee Titans on Sunday at 1 p.m. They're at Tennessee this time. Excuse me. Jacksonville wins the division if they win or they tie and Indianapolis and Houston tie. They clinch a playoff berth if they tie and Pittsburgh loses or ties, or Pittsburgh loses, Denver loses or ties because somehow they're still in the discussion, I believe.
Yeah.
No, they're eliminated. But somehow they need, for whatever reason, they need Denver to lose or tie, and Houston and Indianapolis doesn't end in a tie.
I have never heard the word tie so much in my life.
I know. It's crazy. Crazy. Miami, they win the division. They win the division. Plain and simple. They're already in the playoff. They're already in the playoffs. No matter what happens on Sunday, if they win, they win the division. If they lose, they still in a playoffs. They're still in a playoff spot. They will earn one of the coveted wild card berths. I believe if they lose, they're still I believe they are the 5 or they're the 6. They're the 6th seed.
Okay.
So they would probably play Kansas City. So, but I don't know if that's true. Again, math hurts.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. Whew, prepare yourself for this one, Dustin. Fortify yourself with some Invader Coffee. We might have to Irish up your coffee for this one.
Yeah, all right.
So, Pittsburgh clinches a playoff berth with a win and Buffalo loss, or a win and a Jacksonville loss or tie, a win and a Houston-Indianapolis or tie, Houston-Indianapolis tie, or they tie, Jacksonville loses, and Houston and Indianapolis doesn't end in a tie, or Jacksonville loss, Denver win, and Houston and Indianapolis doesn't end in a tie. I got to see who Denver's playing on Sunday because they're eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they play the Raiders. So it's maybe probably based on strength of schedule, I suspect.
Yeah, I'm guessing, or whoever has maybe Denver owns the tiebreaker over one of these teams. I mean, I don't know. Had in-season victory. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it
if
out.
anybody who knows sports math better than the both of us do, please chime in. Shout out to Gaz. Shout out to my buddy Gaz for using the term sports math. Because I obviously I'm on the struggle bus when it comes to this stuff right now. I'm hurt. I'm a hurting puppy. I rolled 135 this morning, folks. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
It's the roughest. You know what? But hey, it's live TV. It's live.
Mm-hmm. That's how much he cares, ladies and gentlemen. That's how much
I care. I care about you folks. I care about the audience. That's how much I care. I'm willing to be here on like 6 hours, less than 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And to entertain you and talk about sports ball.
Because it's still real to me, damn it.
You gotta start crying, and don't start crying because all of a sudden Pickles would come in the room and start licking your face and being all concerned.
Yeah,
because if I remember correctly, he is a trained therapy dog.
He is, yes, he is.
Yeah.
He is certified. I'm watching my dog nephew this weekend.
Yeah.
He's been very quiet. He's in the other room, silently sleeping on a chair.
Good boy. That's a good boy. All right, to the NFC, which is actually a little bit more, I would say a lot more simpler. But again, I haven't scrolled down, so that remains to be seen. San Francisco 49ers. They have clinched the NFC West. Yes. They have clinched the number 1 seed, and they will have home field throughout the entire playoffs. The Detroit Lions, 11-5. They have clinched the NFC North Division title. Dallas Cowboys. Congratulations to the Detroit Lions. All you long-suffering Lions fans, including Lou Gamelin, who you just chimed in a few minutes ago. Captain Lou and Julie from Michigan, also a big fan of the show, of also the Detroit Lions. Dallas Cowboys have earned a playoff berth. Los Angeles Rams, a playoff berth. And Philadelphia Eagles, playoff berth. Now, here's where we get to the fun part. The Atlanta Falcons.
Oh my God.
How the hell are you still alive? Sitting at 7-9. They're at New Orleans on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta clinches the NFC South Division if they win and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose. Here's the trick with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're playing the Carolina Trash Kitties, as I call them, but most people call them the Carolina Panthers. Dallas Cowboys.
Defense is intense.
Yes. I love that. Dallas Cowboys. They're at the Washington Trash Pelicans. Shout out to the Dumpster Pelicans. Shout out to Drew Willie. They play the Washington Commandskins on Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Dallas clinches the division if they win, or they tie and Philadelphia tie, or a Philadelphia loss. Philadelphia is playing the Giants. So
the Giants played them well. The Giants played Philly well just a mere weeks ago. So that game is not sewn up, you know.
No, it is not. And like Dustin, like my co-host said, Giants played tough last time. And they could have been 5 losses for the Philadelphia Eagles in the month of December instead of 4. So. All right, moving on to the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is at home against Chicago. Green Bay clinches the playoff berth.
That was a real-time reaction. Oh, my God.
Everything hurts and I want to die. Green Bay clinched the playoff berth with a win or a tie, a Seattle loss or tie, and a New Orleans loss or tie. Or they tie, Seattle loses, and Tampa Bay loses. Or Green Bay ties, and Seattle ties, and Tampa Bay loses or ties. Or Minnesota loss or tie, and Seattle loss, and Tampa Bay loss. Or Minnesota loss or tie, and Seattle loss, and New Orleans loss.
Oh my God. So basically, Green Bay.
I'm developing a Twitch.
Yeah. Well, I cringe to see what's going to happen when you get to my Seahawks, because they could have just, if they beat Pittsburgh, it would have been a lot easier. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Still mad about that run defense. You had Najee Harris looking like an MVP out there.
Yes, let the hate flow through you. All right. Yeah. Minnesota Vikings. Their road is a lot simpler. They clinch a playoff berth if they win, Green Bay loses, Seattle loses, and Tampa Bay loses. Or they win, Green Bay loses, Seattle loses, and New Orleans loses. That's it. It's a lot simpler.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Saints, again, they're playing Atlanta at home, 1 p.m. They clinch the South if they win and the Bucks lose or tie, or they tie and the Bucks lose. And in lieu of that, they can still clinch a playoff berth, Dustin. They can still clinch a playoff berth if these things happen. They win, Seattle loses, or they tie, or Green Bay loses or tie, or the Saints tie and the Seahawks and Packers lose.
Oh, I feel like, each time when you're like, okay, we get to this one, I feel like you're like unfurling a scroll of different scenarios. You got the Dead Sea Scrolls over there.
Yeah, I'm reading the scrolls written by John on the island of Patmos. These things are happening. It's not blasphemy, Dad. It's not blasphemy. just saying.
Oh no!
All right. Oh yeah, my dad's gonna come after me. He's gonna send as soon as he watches this or listens to this, he's gonna send me a text message. Don't mention John and Patmos. Look,
hopefully he's watching live. Yeah, hopefully he's watching live. But if not,
I doubt it. But whatever. All right, moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia clinches the division if they win and Dallas loses or ties, or they tie and Dallas loses. And they're playing the Giants at 4:25 at the Meadowlands. So those games will be going on at the same time. Dustin's Seattle Seahawks. They're at Arizona, 4:25 game on Sunday. They'll clinch a playoff berth if they win and the Packers lose or tie, or they tie and the Packers lose and the Buccaneers lose or tie, or they tie and Green Bay loses and the Saints lose or tie.
Okay. But basically beat the Cards, but that is not going to be easy. Jonathan Gannon's going to have them ready to play. And I am concerned because, as I said, that many ties will never happen. So win the game for the love of God.
I can see you on your couch with a towel in your hand like Jerry the Shark Tarkanian.
Yes.
Going back and forth, biting down on a towel throughout the entire game.
This is why when notice how I very rarely ever have people over when the Seahawks are playing in a game of significance, because I do not want people to witness me.
I saw it last year during the wild card.
Yeah, there was nothing I could do about that. But if you remember, I strategically sequestered myself in the kitchen for a lot of that game, making chicken tenders because I did not have high expectations.
Yeah, hey, those chicken tenders, they were delicious. They were damn good.
Well, thank you, sir.
Damn good tendies. Damn good chicken tendies. All right, in the last playoff scenario, praise the Lord. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Carolina Trash Kitties, 1 o'clock game on Sunday. Tampa Bay wins, clinches the division. If they win, all they need to do is win. All they need to do is win, no matter what. Get their money in their mind. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. So they just need to win. They just need to beat the Trash Kitties. Or they tie the Trash Kitties and the Saints either lose or tie against the Falcons. They can also still clinch a playoff berth. Regardless, if they tie, Seahawks lose, and the Packers lose or tie. And sweet, merciful crap, that's the end of the playoff scenario.
All right.
Praise the Lord. Oh, God.
Oh, man. But I think it sets it up. Yeah. I feel bad for you. But I think it sets it up for a very entertaining week of football for sure. Yeah, and I think you and I are going to be on the same page on this one yet again. But what's your pick for the game you're looking forward to most?
Well, actually, it's a great segue.
I try.
Because we're talking about the most intriguing matchups from Week 18. Now, I think the most intriguing matchup, Dustin, and I know you hate talking about when we pick the same game. I know you hate it when we pick the same game, no matter what we talk about or the same player, but this holds the most significance, I think in my mind, for the playoff scenario. And that game is Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. And I think you'll agree.
Yeah, it's the only pick, and I mean, I'll let you talk about what you're looking forward to most about the game.
No, my friend. I've done enough talking with the playoff scenarios, and I need to recover from that. So you take over.
All right. I can take over for a little bit, but I'm sure that you agree with me. The reason, and people in the comments are probably going, "Oh no, he's letting Dustin take the wheel here. We're going off the road." Because I can ramble with the best of them. But
oh no. Well, Kevin agrees with you. It's all in front of Buffalo. They don't win. They should stay home for the playoffs. Oh, and Sam Shady from the Shady Sports Network says, "Good morning, guys." Good morning, Sam Shady.
Good morning. No, I totally agree because a lot of teams have something to play for this week, but this matchup, not only is it two division rivals who know each other well, two division rivals who they probably don't like each other very much. And also it is a home game for Miami, is it not? So Miami gets to avoid the cold weather. So that is key for the Dolphins because if this was at Buffalo, I would put the onus on Buffalo. I would put the money on Buffalo all day. But it being in Miami kind of puts it up in the air a little bit more. But both these teams are going to be playing their behinds off in Week 18. It's not going to be like the Rams, a team that has clinched a playoff berth, so they're resting their starters. You should see the starting list of quarterbacks for a lot of the games this week. People are resting their starters out there. But this is not one of those games. Both teams are going to be laying it all on the line because at one point, and I believe this has changed, but at one point, if Buffalo wins this game, then they win the division. But if they lose this game, at one point, they would have been out of the playoffs. I don't think that is still the case. That has changed a little bit, so the stakes aren't as high, but it affects Miami's seeding options too. You want to be a division winner with a bye. You don't want to be playing what'd you project? The Chiefs based on their seeding if they lose this. So the stakes are high for this game. And also, you have two teams that have some very high-powered offenses. You have Buffalo finding their run game since their new offensive coordinator took over for Ken Dorsey. That has largely coincided with their turnaround, in my opinion. And they managed to overcome some of their defensive injuries. The defense is playing little better. I still don't think it's great. They almost blew that Charger game. But they hung on to win it. But these two teams, it's going to be real good, and I'm real excited to just pull up a chair Sunday night and watch it, because it's going to be a dandy.
It is. It is. So if I might wax a little bit wise here, excuse me. Shout out Wise El Jefe, friend of the show. Yeah, this is going to be, this is the most intriguing matchup, hands down. And as I said earlier in the show, and I said in previous shows leading up to this point, I had a feeling this was going to come to the last Sunday night game of the season. And for the second consecutive season, we're going to have a game that will decide the division crown. Last year, it was Jaguars and Titans. This year, it's Bills, Dolphins, which is great. And I was hoping this would come to fruition, especially if the Dolphins lost any of the last two games of their last two games, and the Bills won their last two games. Bills are coming in again. They're a wagon right now, and again, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Four game winners are 4 in a row. Winners of 5 of their last 6, and this is coming off the strength of firing Ken Dorsey and putting in Joe Brady as their offensive coordinator. And it's worked out well because they've established a running game. They found a running game. Takes a lot of pressure off Josh Allen. He doesn't have to scramble or run the ball as much, even though he still run the ball to get those yards for first downs or whatnot, and to keep plays alive. The pressure's taken off of him because he doesn't need to be the running game. And so coming in, though, this is going to be an interesting thing because there's a couple injuries on the Dolphins side that may decide this game. Tua tweaked his left shoulder last week against Baltimore. For some reason, he was still in the game when they were down over 30 points. They were down 32. He's still in the game. Take him out. Yeah. Put Mike White in. Save your quarterback. I mean, that's one of the things that Mike McDaniel, I think, has to learn, is that if you're in a situation, they took him out when they were up 50 against the Denver Broncos. But when you're down a certain amount and you got a very important game, and you have an important game the next week that could decide the division, you take your star player out. He didn't do that with Tua, and Tua wound up tweaking his left shoulder. And that's going to be, I think that might be a huge issue for the Dolphins. Not only that, but Bradley Chubb, unfortunately, he tore his ACL last week's game. That's an unfortunate injury. Xavier Howard, he's out again. Jerome Baker, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle, all questionable coming into this game. Yeah. So if Mostert's out and Waddle's out, that's going to be a big problem for the Miami offense. And if Tua can't sling the rock like he's used to because of that tweaked left shoulder, that might be a big problem too.
Yes, I agree with you completely. If Tua's shoulder's bothering him, he probably won't be able to make some of the throws. He'll gut it through because he knows that this is a big game. And nobody's ever going to question his toughness after everything he's gone through in his career. And he also had shoulder problems at Alabama, didn't he? That was it his shoulder that he got injured? That was his hip. That's right. Okay. Yeah, his hip. I was mistaken, as often happens on this show. However, I slightly disagree. Jalen Waddle will be a huge loss. But if Raheem Mostert goes out, it is a big loss, but they do have Devon Achane and Jeff Wilson Jr. Both of those running backs have shown that they can handle the load, whether it be with Miami or in Jeff Wilson Jr.'s case. We saw what he could do in San Francisco when he had to start. So Mostert would be a big loss, but in my opinion, not as impactful as Jalen Waddle in the Dolphins receiving game.
Yeah, and even Tyreek Hill had kind of tweaked his ankle last week against Baltimore.
Yeah.
So that's a huge impact.
That is a massive, because we saw how different the offense looked when he wasn't in there. There was some argument made that Tyreek Hill could be an MVP based on how different the Miami Dolphins offense looked without him in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I made that. I would say I made that argument. I thought he would be an MVP candidate, but unfortunately, he won't be. I don't think he'll be the first to 2,000 receiving yards, which is unfortunate because that was the goal he was aiming for this season. He wanted to be the first receiver to break the 2,000-yard receiving mark. He didn't quite catch that goal, but this is a huge game for Miami because if they win the division. Not only do they win the division, but they have a first home playoff game since 2008, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Last time they had a home playoff game.
Real-time research, folks. And also, I have to say, I have not checked out Hard Knocks in season, but I did, which features the Miami Dolphins, which is kind of weird because Hard Knocks was the New York Jets this year, and then the in-season one is the Dolphins, so they're going AFC East team. But I have to ask you, did you see a clip? There was a clip I saw, and it was Mike McDaniel. Dan Marino's on the sideline before a Dolphins game, and Mike McDaniel just goes, "F you, Dan, we're coming for you and your records." I was like, oh my God. I like Mike McDaniel. He has some things to learn as a coach still, but I think overall, very good coach and entertaining guy. He cracks me up.
Yep, and I was right. They hosted the Baltimore Ravens in the 2009 playoffs. They won the division in 2008. I think they were a wild card team in 2008.
Oh man. That's impressive. Okay, so I'm going to christen you with a new nickname on this show. Not only are you the Saki Master, not only are you
they won the They did win the East. They did win the East. Yep.
There you go. You are Encyclopedia Britannica.
Wow. Look, thank you. Thank you for that. But I am not at the level of Brian Snow, who can rattle off things like that.
Oh yeah.
Snowman, friend of the show, Snowman. I am not at his level.
His guest appearances. His guest appearance on our show, first of all, we have to have him on again. But I remember making one little reference to Dave Niehaus, the old Mariners announcer, because that was the announcer next to John Sterling. I heard a lot of Dave Niehaus, not because I watched Mariners games, but it was because I played Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest on the Nintendo 64 a ton. So I knew all of Dave Niehaus's expressions. And Snowman went into a story about Dave Niehaus, and it was riveting, and he was like spitting facts. I was in awe.
So continuing the discussion about the Bills and the Dolphins here. Now, I think it's fortunate for the Bills that it's a night game because it's not during the day, and you get the sideline that they had that the Dolphins had designed for Hard Rock Stadium when they put the covering on. The sun is beating down on your opponents, but it's a night game, so it's not going to matter. And we saw last year when the Bills played the Dolphins in the regular season, in that 1:00 game where the Bills were just absolutely dog tired at the end of the game. Yeah, it's going to be a big factor. I think having a night game is going to have a big impact on how the Bills play. So it's going to be probably the most intriguing matchup of the entire year coming into the playoffs. And I can't wait. So with that, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the rest of the week 18. We'll talk about the castor oil game of the week. We'll also talk about the players to watch in week 18 of the NFL. So stay tuned for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. So hey, listen, we're drinking this right now. We are drinking Invader Coffee.
I don't know why, but that got me. So hey, listen.
Well, hey, listen.
That was
We're
great.
drinking. Oh, thank you. But yes, seriously, Invader Coffee, one of our sponsors since day one-ish with no credentials required, and with Belly Up Sports as well. So if you're looking for outstanding coffee with the with what that's 100% air roasted, 100% fair trade, 100% veteran owned, and like I said, I've asked this before, I'm gonna ask again. Do you hate your country? Do you hate veterans? Do you hate those who have served your country? Of course you don't. Buy some Invader Coffee. Buy some Invader Coffee. I'm drinking the Bad Santa. Dustin has the Cookie Crumble. Those are the seasonal blends for Christmas blends. They're delightful. I don't know if I have to look to see if they're still available. If they are, we highly recommend them. We highly recommend the seasonal blends. Yes, but we also recommend the regular blends that they have. The Outsider blend, which is a darker roast. They also have their regular OG blend. And yes, the Cookie Crumble, the Jolly Java, and I'm looking to see if the Bad Santa's available. Yes, they're all still available for a limited time. But again, you can also get the OG Invader Coffee. You get the Break in Case of Emergency, the Don't Cali My Texas blend, the Warhorse Bacon Bourbon blend, which I haven't tried. I'll have to try.
Yeah, well, and if you would like a cup of coffee next Saturday, I will gladly brew one up for you. I have the Warhorse blend. It is really good. Yes, it is. It is really good. But I will say the flavor, like, it is not a cup of coffee that I could drink every day. That is like you have it on the weekends for a little treat, something like that. But I have the Warhorse Bacon Bourbon blend. I also, because I've never tried it, I just ordered and received very quick shipping, as you've mentioned before. You pay a little bit more, but it arrives quick at your door. I have the Break in Case of Emergency blend I just bought. I haven't tried that. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a good blend. It's a good blend.
And I also ordered some K-Cups for the office because they do have a couple flavor varieties in K-Cup. They have their original blend in K-Cup, and they also have, I believe it is the Mexican chocolate in K-Cup.
And the whiskey blend as well.
Oh, okay. The whiskey blend as well. Okay.
Yep. Well, those are sold out right now, but as soon as they replenish, you can find it.
I grabbed one.
There you go. And you can lose. Well, it's not in the description right now because I didn't get a chance to set up the entire description before we went on. But you can find our affiliate link in the description, both on No Credentials Required channel and on the Belly Up YouTube channel. And also save 15% off your order with promo code BELLYUP. And again, like Dustin said, like I've said before, you'll pay a little bit more for premium shipping, but it'll come to your door within a matter of days, fresh roasted, ready to consume. So get yourself some Invader Coffee. Support veteran businesses. Get yourself some Invader Coffee today. So we had to drink our coffee because we're coming up to the Castor Oil Game of the Week. And I'm going to lead off with this one because I am wearing my Jets t-shirt today. I'm also wearing my Jets shirt that my mom got me for Christmas last year underneath because I need to layer up because it's cold out there.
Oh yeah.
It's almost over. Jets fans, and I'm pretty sure especially Patriots fans can rejoice that this season is almost over for both teams because this has been, I think, one of the worst seasons as a Jets fan I've witnessed. And that's saying a lot because we had to go through the Adam Gase years. Also had to go through the Rich Kotite years. Those were some pretty bad years.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty bad years. This one was worse. I think the worst I've experienced because of the expectation coming into the season. You pick up a 4-time MVP. You pick up a guy who's won a Super Bowl. Pick up a guy who's been to the Super Bowl. He knows how to win. He knows how to get to the next level, especially with a championship defense like this one, although they haven't been playing like championship level lately. The expectation was that the Jets were just going to just go crazy this year. They're going to go to the playoff, not only probably go to the playoffs, but also possibly go to a conference championship and maybe a Super Bowl. That's the one thing I want in my life before my life ends on this earth, whether it be tomorrow or 30, 40 years down the road. I want to see the Jets go to the Super Bowl, hopefully win one. Unfortunately, those things didn't work out because 4 plays in, that star quarterback goes down. And the Jets have seen their ups and downs throughout the season. It's been more of a downslope lately. There was a lot of hope coming in, and that hope seemed to be dashed. After the Raiders game, I checked out. After the Raiders game, that loss, what they should have won. They should have won that game. I believe. Unfortunately, it didn't. I checked out. And you're coming into week 18, going to play your chief division rival, and both teams are terrible.
Yeah.
Both are just a dog's breakfast. The only implications now, I'm seeing Jets fandom split right now. Half the fans want the Jets to break this 15-game losing streak against the Patriots. I want that. The other half wants the Jets to lose to try to improve their draft order. Now, here's the thing. With the Jets, if they lose, they have to have the Giants, Chargers, and Titans somehow all win to move up in the draft order. I think they can get as high as 5th right now. The Patriots can finish second in the draft order if they lose and the Commanders win, because right now the Patriots hold the 3rd spot. So this is a race to the bottom right now. This is a race to the bottom. And I feel sorry either way. I mean, whatever happens in this game, Jets lose, Jets win, draft order, whatever. I feel so sorry for the NFL. Now, this won't be a Spiro D-list game of the week because this game's going to be on Fox. But I still feel sorry for whichever NFL on Fox broadcast team that has to call this game. I also feel sorry for my guy Bob Wischusen and Marty Lyons and the Jets broadcast team, the Jets radio call team, and whichever scrub crew is covering the Patriots on the radio side. I think Scott Zolak is the color commentary for Pat's Radio WEEI out in Boston. But yeah, that's my castor oil game of the week. I don't care. Jets fans probably don't care. Pats fans don't care either because they've had to witness this slide. The dynasty is now in shambles. And I will say this, though. It would be absolutely positively delicious if this is Bill Belichick's last game for the team he hates the most to send him out with a gigantic L. Mm-hmm. And not only a gigantic L, but a total thrashing, like a 20-plus point win, a 3-touchdown win. That would be something. That would make my year. That would make my year, and it's not even the end of January. Well, my rant. So my talk is over. Dustin, what's your castor oil game of the week?
Well, we did it again. We picked the same game, but sometimes we have to pick the same game because there's not better options there. But also, I will just comment a little bit more. Apparently, an article was written recently on it, which you don't know if everything in these articles are true. You don't know how reliable the sources are. Sometimes you don't know, but apparently there is a level of dysfunction in the Patriots organization right now that has not been seen before. And as you said, the more entertaining thing besides this game, because I think this game is going to be brutal. I mean, at least it's not Mac Jones starting.
Praise the Lord for Red Zone. Yeah, it's not a Zach Wilson, Mac Jones special. It's going to be Trevor
would be
Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, that would be brutal. But I cannot imagine the roller coaster you've ridden this year as a Jets fan. Like you said, the expectations were sky high, and I think deservedly so. And it's only natural. You make some of the acquisitions that you made you're going to get excited about the team, especially knowing the caliber of defense that you have. And I can attest, as a Seahawks fan who witnessed those phenomenal LOB years, the defensive windows are short. You don't keep something like that together forever. So you've got to be worried about the clock ticking down. And I'm going to talk a little less about this game because I really don't want to watch this game, but maybe it'll be a barn burner.
And praise the Lord for Red Zone.
Yes. Thank you, Scott Hansen. You're going to save us all. Now, but there are so many intriguing things surrounding this game because one, is this Bill Belichick's last game as the head coach of the Patriots? And if so, who do they bring in? I think if Tennessee lets go of Mike Vrabel will be a perfect fit.
McDaniels. I'm speaking into the universe. Bring in Josh McDaniels.
That would be, you know what? I would not put it past Kraft to do that. And that would be like the dumbest thing. But the other thing is, like, It just, where will Belichick go? Because I do not think he is done with football by any means. And there has been talk about him going back to the Giants, which obviously is super disrespectful because Brian Dable is there. But I do not think Bill Belichick retires from football. I think Bill Belichick has the same relationship with football as Charles Schultz did with peanuts. If you remember the longtime comic strip creator, not to get morbid, but he retired in his 90s. He finally stopped doing Peanuts, and like 2 months later, he died. Peanuts is what kept him going. And I think Belichick has a similar relationship with football. I do not see him walking away.
And it's the same thing with Joe Paterno and Penn State. They wanted him out so bad. I talked about this with my buddy Steve yesterday. He's a Penn State fan. He's originally from the Hershey area, but he grew up watching Penn State, and he was saying that basically Penn State administrators wanted him out. So like they wanted him out really badly. That's why the Sandusky thing came along, which is unfortunate. But after he retired, after he was let go, he died, I think, less than a year later.
Yeah.
After he was let go. And same thing with my grandfather. My grandfather, after he retired, he was 87 years old when he retired. He loved to work. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he retired, his health went downhill very rapidly, and he stuck around for another, I think probably about 4 or 5 years. But when you love your work that much and you walk away from whatever work you're at, you go downhill pretty quickly, which is sad. Is sad. But
and I don't see
that happening with Belichick though.
No, but he's definitely going to stay around football. I just wonder where he goes because I don't see too many obvious openings for him, and he is not going to go to the Panthers. Like that's not going to happen. The Chargers would be intriguing, but there are rumblings that John Harbaugh is going to possibly, or not Jim Harbaugh, my apologies, that Jim Harbaugh would actually sign on with the Chargers. But who knows? That's all rumor and conjecture. But that's the most interesting thing surrounding this game is some of the ramifications because there's not much on the field to look forward to in this one.
Nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, we're going to end this particular brunch on a positive note.
Yes.
With our players to watch in Week 18. Dustin, I'm going to have, since I led off the last one, I'm going to have you lead off with this one. Who's your player to watch in Week 18 of the NFL?
Okay. Now I'm going to go with my original pick here because I still feel the same way, but I'm also going to sneak one in. Brunch bonus time. Okay, so the player, or more aptly, the team that I will be watching the most this week is one Philadelphia Eagles. The entire team I'm watching because their last few weeks haven't been too good. And as we've mentioned before, they are playing a Giants team that played them well just mere weeks ago, and the Giants seem to have turned it around a little bit. especially from where they were in the beginning of the season and just the brutal start they had and everything else. And they're another intriguing thing because what do you do with Daniel Jones? Tommy DeVito at spots looked better. Tyrod Taylor has looked better had he not had the injuries and things. Tyrod Taylor, one of the most unlucky men in sports, I would say.
Yeah.
But the Eagles, as I said last week, their body language on the sideline doesn't look good right now. Jalen Hurts, he looks frustrated. He looks disgusted. And at some point, you want that competitive edge, but you don't want it to permeate into everything. And AJ Brown, he said there's nothing to say. He said there's nothing to say. And then I couldn't believe too, where he basically, I will give him props for this. He came out and he said the final play, that was us. We audibled on that. The players, we decided to do this. And he said Coach Sirianni came out and made himself look like an idiot because he said he was trying to draw a flag or something. But he said AJ Brown said that was the players. Sirianni protected us. So he said he does have respect for his head coach. So I take my hat off to the man for that. But their body language, their whole vibe, it's night and day between the beginning of the season and the end. But now, the pick that I would have picked had this news happened before I wrote my portion of the rundown, recently the Baltimore Ravens picked up one Dalvin Cook. He was released by the Jets, and he went unclaimed through waivers, and then he was free to sign with whatever team he wanted. And he got on with a playoff contender in the Baltimore Ravens. Now, he says his body is ready to go, and he feels great. And if I am super curious because I want to see, is Dalvin Cook as washed as he looked on the Jets? Or is it that he was just injured? He was playing behind an offensive line that was, or the fit just wasn't good, whatever it is. Because if he goes on to Baltimore and goes off and looks like the Dalvin Cook of old from Minnesota and gives them running back depth, a team that has been, the Baltimore Ravens have been snake bit with injuries at running back for like the last 4 years now. It always happens. I feel so bad for J.K. Dobbins. But I'm going to be keeping, if there is some chance that he plays in the playoffs and goes off for the rest of the season, I'm going to be keeping my eye on Dalvin Cook as well.
Yeah.
But how about you, Ryan?
So my player to watch this week is C.J. Stroud. And I'll tell you why. And he plays tonight. So he returned last week, and he led after 2 weeks off in concussion protocol, led the Texans to a blowout win over the Titans, which I don't know. Maybe this is, I said this last year, didn't happen, but maybe this year it might signal the end of Mike Vrabel's turn in Tennessee. Because this Titans team is a snake bit team. With all the injuries they've been having, all the personnel issues they've been having, especially at quarterback. Will Levis is out, I believe, this coming week. But they stayed in the division title hunt because now it's coming down to 3 teams. It's coming down to Indy, Houston, and Jacksonville. He'll face the Colts in Indianapolis, and they faced the Colts in week 2 of the season. But at that point, we didn't know who the Texans were. This is a much different Texans team than we saw in week 2. Week 18's Texans team is a totally different team than week 2's Texans team. And this is going to be a fascinating matchup because it's a rookie quarterback who is leading his team to possibly an unlikely playoff berth and possibly a division title. And I want to see how he handles the pressure in this type of situation. Now, we kind of saw a glimpse of it last year in the college football playoff when Ohio State faced Georgia in the semifinal, which was one of the best college football games I ever saw. It was a great college football game. And I said to myself, after watching that game, after watching C.J. Stroud, and I said, I'm usually down on Ohio State quarterbacks from 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 years past. I would say that includes Justin Fields, but I think the jury's still out on him because he's turning it around. I think he's starting to turn it around.
Yeah, and he does it in a less conventional way, but he's starting to find who he is as a player, I think.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate the Bears were eliminated from playoff contention last week, even though they won convincingly over Arthur Smith's porn stash and the Atlanta Trash Falcons. But like I said, CJ Stroud, I saw glimpses of that brilliance when he played under pressure against a rather good Georgia defense last year in the college football playoff. And I said to myself, this kid is going to be a really good pro. I think it's going to take time for him to develop, but we're seeing the success he has. I think he might be the runaway pick for Rookie of the Year in the NFL this year, at least on the AFC side. I don't know about the entire league, but I think at least on the AFC side, he'll definitely win Rookie of the Year. He's earned that distinction. We've seen him just ball out for this season. His tremendous rookie campaign with Coach DeMeco Ryans calling the shots on defense, and he's just letting CJ Stroud do his thing on offense. And it's going to be an 8:15 match tonight between them and the Colts. They'll be on national television in front of a big audience, a national audience. Let's see what they can do in front of a national audience. Let's see what CJ Stroud can do in front of a national offense against a rather good and surprisingly good Colts defense.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it before on this show, but both of us with Shane Steichen at the helm of the Colts, he could easily be considered for Coach of the Year. And then you go to the opposing sidelines, DeMeco Ryans could as well. There's a lot of coaches that have done a great job this year. I would also give the nod to Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland. That gumbo has been cooked. The Browns are in the playoffs. Now, I do have to say, though, I hope this matchup for many years to come, especially when the Colts get Richardson back healthy next year, this could be one of the best rivalries in the NFL moving forward. Both young quarterbacks, both talented quarterbacks, both head coaches who seem to know the identity of their teams. And the Texans are not the Texans teams of old. They have some talent because there were some lean years after the Arian Foster, Matt Schaub years, etc. In the early Deshaun Watson era. There were some lean years after that, but this Texans team is on the rise, as is this Indianapolis Colts team, I think. And Gardner Minshew has done a great job stepping in for Anthony Richardson. I am excited about this matchup, and I, like you, that's a great pick. I'd love to see CJ Stroud and see what he can do, but he looks like an absolute star. And I have to take us in a little bit of a different direction now because you brought it up. Justin Fields. Did you see Roddy White, former Atlanta Falcon? He said after the Bears beat the Falcons, he tweeted and he said, and it's always going to be Twitter to me. He tweeted, he said, y'all want yeah. If y'all want to get rid of Justin Fields in Chicago so badly, let my Falcons take him. And that got me thinking, if Justin Fields was on the Falcons, it would be it would leap to like must-watch football because Justin Fields is dynamic in his own right. Then you have Drake London. You have the running back. Why is his name escaping me? Their draft pick. Their high draft pick.
Bijan Robinson.
Yes, you have Bijan there. Have
Tyler Algier, Arthur.
Yeah. And you have the tight end who they picked fourth overall, Kyle Pitts. I almost forgot his name because he's been missing, but it got me thinking. Roddy White is right. You put Justin Fields on the Falcons, that would be an intriguing team to watch next year, which would open up the Bears to take, Caleb from UFC. Is it Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams.
Yeah. But I don't know. But I don't think they'll do it. I think the Bears are going to hang on to Fields and probably get a bunch of picks. But I just started Roddy White. His tweet intrigued me.
Here's a couple things. Arthur Smith has his top men stashing Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson away. Where? Who? I have my top men on it. My top men stashed away the Ark of the Covenant. He stashed it away like the Ark of the Covenant. Also, hot take. I think Michael Penix from Washington is the number one quarterback in the draft.
Okay.
Based on the way he played on Monday night in the semifinal against Texas, and I think he has a tremendous opportunity. And by the way, I am hoping. I mean, I have some friends who are Michigan Wolverines fans. Jeff Levac, my buddy Jeff Levac, being one of them. Although I think I call him my buddy. I don't think he calls me his buddy. But I know he's a big Michigan Wolverines fan. I have other friends in my life who are Wolverines fans. But I think the funniest thing would be for the Washington Huskies to win the national championship on Monday night, and that would be the swan song for the Pac-12. It would be chef's kiss. For the Pac-12 to walk away from the Pac-12 team to walk away as a national champion, because of the way the NCAA completely screwed them with all the realignments going on. All the realignment is happening. All the realignment, and this season, a Pac-12 team wins the national championship. That would be just chef's kiss for me.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And also, like, I'm not trying to hate on it, but you get sick of seeing the same SEC teams in there every year.
But yeah, the fact that there are non-SEC teams in the national championship is kind of refreshing. Come at me, SECers. Come at me. I said it.
Yeah, there's going to be people that are mad that Georgia's not in it, or Alabama or whoever.
Roll Tide. I got that Bama.
Roll damn Tide. I got too much Bama in me.
Too much Bama in me.
I wanted to name Alabama. That never gets old. It never gets old.
Shoot.
That guy.
Well,
poisoning trees.
We're going to wrap things up here. And we wish to remind you about our social channels right down here below. Please give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and the now infrequently used TikTok. It's at NoCardsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCardsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCardsREQ. Don't forget to leave us a like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our platforms. I forgot to mention, Sapna stopped by with her obligatory sports ball comment and the hand pink waving emoji, which I saw on the YouTube channel. Also, on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, wherever you podcast, rate and review. Give us a 5-star rating. If you can, leave a review. We might even read it on the air. You have been tuning into the Saturday Brunch edition of No Crunches Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. Again, we are presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. My name is Ryan McCarthy. For my co-host, Dustin Henry. Thanks for joining us on Saturday morning, and we'll talk to you on our regular time, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see you then.
Good morning, everybody.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.